Hebrews 11:1, got it.
Yes.
Now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. So faith for me would be trusting even when you do not see it. It would be a quiet confidence that God is at work.
Grace.
So unmerited favor.
Unmerited
favor is what just quickly came to my mind.
Yeah.
Yes. He's been so gracious to me. So gracious. I'm also linking it to the story saga Jonah Bokulumana. So Jonah just kept on being after Jonah. So that was me. That was me saying, no, but according to the book, according to what I've planned, my career is about to boom, and God says, no, it has to be you. And I ran away for years, and His grace. Also going back to the song Umelusi, it's uyangihola ngize ngifike la angifuna khona, which means you can't even dodge. You know what I mean? I've tried so many times. I've tried for years, and if it was somebody else, Musa nenkani yakhe, she knows what she's doing, let her go. But He just keeps running and chasing after me.
What was happening? Were you doing an EP? Were you doing an album? What was going on?
It's been a long journey. I don't know if you want to hear about it.
I want to.
It's been a long journey where
I got champion DNA. Turn my worries into plays.
Ladies and gentlemen, another day, another guest. I'm so excited actually about my guest today on the Evolution Lounge. This lady I've been watching from a distance, I think for a while now, and I got so excited. And so when we started to do the Evolution Lounge and come up with the concept, and I thought, no man, we would love to actually hear the process of her story, the process of becoming. And today I'm sitting with the wonderful Musa Yende, who needs no introduction actually. I think you've done pretty well.
Oh man!
Yeah, welcome.
You.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate you.
Yes.
You've done so well. I mean, I've been watching you from a distance. I mean, stuff that you've been doing with Siaka.
Yes.
I think you guys used to do some trios.
Yes.
Yeah.
We did a lot of those.
You did a lot of those, you know. And I want to get to first understand the genesis, because today, let me say, the Evolution Lounge, we talk about the process of becoming.
Okay.
So the process of becoming, we inspire individuals who want to become something in life. There are young people who are dreamers, all right, but don't have the formula, don't have mentors. Some of them are disadvantaged, right? Some individuals are in their elderly age. And is it too late, right, if we were to talk about the process? So because we see you and we hear, when you say Musa Yende, we don't know any other Musa Yende. We know, oh, this is Musa Yende. But how did you get to building that name, right? So for me right now is to understand, and I think I will just give audiences, time to reflect on their own lives, and check where you come from. But I want to start with this, an icebreaker. We haven't done this before. You're the first one to do this.
Okay.
So I'll give you 3 words.
Yeah.
With these 3 words, and just tell me what comes to your mind, all right? And
Okay.
I'll start with faith. Faith.
Faith. I would say the process. As we say faith, I'm remembering a verse.
Okay.
I just don't like to misquote, so can I?
Please,
yes,
go ahead.
I don't like to misquote, but I know it's in Hebrews.
Okay.
Faith, I'm remembering, it's in Hebrews 11:1, got it.
Yes.
Now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. So faith for me would be trusting even when you do not see it. It would be a quiet confidence that God is at work. Yeah.
There's something that it says about confidence.
Yes.
Please read that again.
Yeah. So Hebrews 11:1 says, now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see.
Yeah. When you started at a very young age, and maybe I'll let you even tell us what age that is, did you have the confidence and faith in what you were hoping for at that particular time? And how did that start? And how old were you?
I was actually very young. I would say I did have the confidence.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say I really did.
Okay.
This was at a young age. I've always kind of the back of my head known and felt as though I need to be in the line of being a musician, you know. Even the kind of family that I came from were very supportive, you know, and they would say, hey, Yazuena, when you grow up, you know. So yes, it's always been there at a very, very young age, but it was quite timid. It was very subtle at the time in terms of, I wasn't out there about being a musician and stuff, but I kind of knew at the back of my head that, man, when I see these people, this is where I see myself. Yeah, and then I've always been a lover of music till after high school, when everybody's choosing their great career lines, you know, I want to be a doctor, I want to be an accountant. I'm there trying to be like, okay, what do I want to do? Because I know that my line of work, I'd really like to try the music out. And I think towards the end of the year, I was just like, actually, let me just go study music and see. If I fail, it's okay. You can always pick yourself up and start again. Yeah.
So with the confidence, where do you get this confidence? Were you that child that will stand in the mirror, you know, with a mic, sing, and have your parents or your siblings, you know, take us through your development, you know, your upbringing in that space?
I'm an introvert, something that people wouldn't even know.
No.
I'm probably one of the shyest in the room.
No.
I just have a way of handling it now, because singing I'm too old for how I act sometimes. But I can handle it. But I think what played a role was the kind of background and my support system. My family being my support system. So being it's, you know, I really like singing. I would watch musicals, you know, grew up watching those kind of movies. My family was always like, oh, we think you would be the greatest in it. So it kind of did really just feed the monster, lack of a better word. So it grew in me with time, and Yazin, do you see it? And they were like, yeah, we do. And really, sometimes even when you don't see it, if God has placed it in you, it'll always eat you up. It's always loud somewhere in there. You know that this is what I'm meant to do, whether anybody else really believes it or sees it or not.
So being an introvert at the time, let's say maybe between 6 and 14 years old, what does it mean, and what does that picture look like? What are you doing in the house?
So I wish I could go back and fix my childhood, because I would have been more confident than I was. Funny enough, I did have a lot of friends. But I love my space. I love to be in the house. I would spend a lot of time with my family. I know I used to collect my mom and her siblings, and they used to collect DVD. It was time DVD. Yes. So all the animated movies, I would really sit and watch that. I would just sing, you know. I would just sit in a corner and just pray, and I was really that child. I wasn't out there gangago, really no. I spent a lot of time with my family. Like I'm saying, I grew up, at some point I was at my grandmother's house, and noma abanye abantwana badlala amathini, mina babangangikhethi because I'm not the liveliest in the room. So I was okay with that. Okay with that till now. I mean, manje sengimdala phela, but it's still in there. That's why even when I know I'm fast forwarding, but I need to make this point. That's why even now, when I branched out into doing my music, I didn't do it like everybody does it. I do it in my own way. I don't need to get on stage and forcefully hype myself to be. I don't have the biggest praise break, you know. I don't get on stage and I do it. This is a conversation with God. I just stand on stage sometimes, unless ikona to step nyana at that time. But otherwise, till today, I just do it the way I would do it, because this is who I am.
And so did that not affect you when it comes to you having to start, you know, getting into the music space? Because that kind of demands you to have a certain character, a certain attitude. But you being reserved and being, you know, quiet and introverted, how did that, most especially when you start, was it Sunday school, was it youth? Or was it really
at Sunday
after?
School.
At Sunday school.
Here and there. Actually, maybe, not necessarily Sunday school, sorry. I started, I was in high school, but I was singing at the church I was at the time, a Holy Bible Focused church.
Yeah.
Started singing. I had friends that were, most of my friends are extroverts because they make me feel better, good time, and it's not that serious, you know?
Yeah.
So they would be like, you have to come and sing, hey? And no, but you have to do it. And then but to answer to your question, it's not always a good thing. It's not always a good thing. You get to a room with really strong characters, get to a room where people think this is how it's supposed to be done. And if you don't look like the vibiest viber of vibes, so to call it, maybe they don't see what you can offer sometimes. It's not even a bad thing, really. But people don't know what you're capable of because you're not putting yourself out there, and they have every right to not really know, you know. So, it's not always a good thing, but this is where in my journey I'm always like, I'm so grateful to God because this can only be God. How I get to do them because my character, I would not.
It's not the one. So I want to read you something that has to do with evolution, right? And when we're talking evolution, evolution is the process of becoming. You're not stagnant. You're not in one place. It's a gradual change. What move. But the interesting thing is there is variation, right? That we talk about in evolution, and the variation says no two individuals are exactly the same. Yeah. Right. And it says everyone starts with different strengths, limitations, backgrounds, and gifts. Right? Evolution doesn't demand sameness. It depends on difference. And when you're speaking about your uniqueness you walk in the room, everyone may be loud, but you keep it, Musa Yende's character. But what's interesting for me is how did you get to where you are today with that persona, with that character?
So this is where I go back to the last statement, Mangiti. It could only be God. Yeah. Even I don't know, you know. But I think God places you in that kind of position sometimes where if I'm going to sit here and say, it's because when I woke up, I'd be lying. So I need to give the glory to him because it can only be him. Yeah. But there's just a power, and some people don't really see the strength in it. There's a power in you being you. Okay. No one else can do it like you. Yeah. And I think if we all run with that, then we can do a thing because no one else can do it like you. But if I forcefully now wake up and try to be like a Beyonce or a whoever, they're going to beat me in their own game because they're just being themselves, you know, and I'm trying to imitate what they're doing. And I won't even know whether creative process or how they do things, you know. So the power is really me being me. I'm able to see my flaws. I'm able to say, hey, okay, here I can do this one better. Okay, because of my character, maybe how's about, or really it's that there's a power in me being me, and I love it. Yeah, I love being me. I love that. I don't do it like everybody else. Sometimes I watch myself and I'm like, you are so awkward and cringe, but I like it. You know,
it works for most.
It works for me. It works for me, and as we go, then I'm like, hey, but here, let's fix here. But that's the beauty of my journey, that I embrace it. It took long. For the longest time, I would wait and enjoy it when people, not enjoy, but I would believe what people say about me. Okay. I come from, it's been a long journey. I don't know if you want to hear about it. I want to. It's been a long journey where at some point I was Nubia because I was signed with someone else, and they were like, we think you could be Nubia. And I was like, I ran with it. Wow. But I couldn't maintain it. I couldn't live up to it because I don't even know why they, you know. Yeah. And I thought maybe they could tell me better who I could be. And someone else said, you know, when I look at you, I think you could be a Zania. Matema still calls me Zania till today because I was Zania at some point. I was Zania and changed my Instagram name because of who I was working with at the time. And then I was, you know what, when we look at you, we think you would kill it if you did the African vibe. And I thought, oh, let me give it a try. And I allowed people to put a brand on myself until I grew up. And then I was like, actually, no. Even now, the people that the label that I'm signed under, they were like, so who do we call you? What's your stage name? Do you have? I'm like, Musa Yende. Musa is my name. Yende is my surname.
Yeah.
And I love it, you know. So I ended up really loving myself, accepting, being content with who I am. And that's my power.
And I mean, with I'll get to the branding part and to the identity part.
Yeah.
But there's something about introverts.
Yeah.
And it's a trait, a very powerful trait that introverts have.
Is it?
Introverts are the most powerful people in that they're good strategists. They are good observers, right? So, what trait did you have or did you possess that you think helped you to be in the spaces that you were in, and then you would feel that here I need to maybe pull out or I need to be closer to a specific person, right? I would say for someone else, maybe it's a strategic trait, or to someone else, also maybe it's because they observe, but they don't have to say a lot. But because they spend so much time, with themselves, and they know somehow, okay, this can work, this won't work. Yeah. What personality trait did you have that you think this one is my bullet, this one is my gun?
I have no idea. But because it wasn't strategic, really.
Yeah.
I was just being me. So,
okay.
Yeah, but I hear what you're saying. I've never really thought of it.
Yeah.
But... and you're right. I didn't notice that my introverts actually sometimes they are specific in certain things. And you're right, because I have different characters around me, different friends, different kinds of people that surround me, and I can handle most of them well. Yeah. And I don't know. Maybe I don't know how to put it. Maybe I'm understanding.
Yeah.
I don't know. Actually, this is an interesting question.
Yeah.
But for me, I was just being me, and it worked for me.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I could sustain it for the longest time. Sustain, because sometimes when you're strategic about things and you can't maintain it after a while. Sometimes. Yeah. I don't know. So. I don't know, I was just being me. I don't know if I'm answering you well, but...
You're doing it, I think that's a personality trait, because you saying being me also then comes back to the confidence. Comes back to knowing who you are and not trying to alter who you are.
Yeah, no. So it could have been that I was genuinely myself. I was genuine in how I treat people, how I handle the people around me. So probably, maybe, I would run with that one,
So how did you get into the music? How did you, where you say, here I'm starting to become a musician, right? And where you title it, you becoming part of a choir or part of a group. When was that?
So actually, so obviously, like I said, I started singing at church because my friends were like, oh, you have to sing, come sing, you sound so good. And really that did also, I grew in it, really. I did better, And then after high school, I said, I'm going to study music. And my family was really supportive. At some point, you could see they're like, especially back at the time, they're like, what do you do with the music? But they were like, okay, go for it. Let's see what could come out of it. And I forgot my first Phoenix. I went to a school called Phoenix Benedict, I think. I don't know if it's still operating, for 6 months. And then I went to Central Johannesburg College. Yeah. I don't really think I knew what I was going to do there. I just knew that I wanted to sing. And when I got there, at the time I had a big interest in pop and R&B. And it was actually a jazz school.
Okay.
And I was there for about 3 years. And obviously there's power also in just interacting and mingling with a lot of other musicians. Yeah. You learn a lot, things that you didn't know of. And that's how it grew. And then obviously you network with people. Yeah. There's a lecturer that'll say, oh, there's something in East London. I'm going to take you and Siaka. And I remember we went to East London with my lecturer. And it also did build... the confidence in the sense of just me being out there, because I was very much in my shell. Just having different people, hey, how's about we perform it wherever tonight? Oh, okay. Then, I grew in it, really. And then I became a backing vocalist for like 10 years.
Yeah. So this the genre. So at church you're doing gospel, and when you're at school, you're doing jazz and pop, right?
Yeah.
So how do you then branch into gospel?
Gospel.
Yeah.
So born and bred in a Christian family, church every Sunday, siyavuka, you know. So it's gospel is not just a career for me; it's really who I am, you know.
Yeah.
And then when I went to school, but I would listen to other people, Fantasia, India Ori. I did love pop. I did love other genres. So when I went to school, it was in hopes that I would study something about pop, R&B, and no, it was jazz. And they kept on saying, jazz is the core foundation of all genres. This is what you have. So, which was actually helpful because I can actually sing jazz. I mean, I haven't mastered it gangago because I haven't done it in a while. Yeah. But you can throw me in a gig that does jazz. I would actually do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I started backing a lot of artists. 90% of them were really gospel artists.
Okay.
85% were gospel artists, and I did do Abanya. I was part of Ikoya Gazix. I would do Amanda Black. I've done Kelly Kumal. I worked with different people, but most of them were really Dr. Dumi, Benjamin Dube, and so forth. So then I recorded an EP, actually, 2 years ago. I recorded an EP that was pop.
Okay.
Well, popish, R&B.
Yeah.
Done deal. It just didn't work out. And let me tell you, I tried knocking on the doors for 2 years or so, to a point where I was like, I'm about to be depressed because what is going on? I don't think I'm that bad, you know.
Is this the Nubia identity?
This is even
vibes?
after the Nubia.
Wow.
My journey is extremely long.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's something people wouldn't know. Abanye bangazi manje, and it's like, oh, where did you come from?
Yes.
But actually, there was a lot of building. There was a lot of groundwork that was put into it.
And we'd like to get into that. You know, when you said there's, you know, Nubia and
Zania.
What was happening? Were you doing an EP? Were you doing an album? What was going on?
Yeah. I have to think way back. Nubia. I was actually working with Robbie Melling.
Oh, yes.
And
Robbie
Jakes, yes.
Greatest producer.
Oh, man, he is. And I was really excited about it. Yes. So I think it was my manager at the time was like, you could be like an African goddess, Nubia.
Okay.
And really, I got what she was saying. She wasn't wrong for it.
Yeah.
Also, at the time, maybe when she asked what I wanted to do, I probably was like, anything, you know?
Yeah.
So
they're branding you. You're giving them that freedom, creative freedom
really,
to just do branding.
Yes. So they were not wrong to do so.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I said I was Nubia, and we worked. The project didn't work out, so I'm not sure why, but it just didn't work out. It had to be put on pause. Years later, a friend of mine, Usiaka, actually says to me, you know what, I want to plug you with someone, and he plugs me with someone that's in the industry that wants that's looking for an artist. They're big in pop, looking for an artist, and worked with them. Then I was Zania.
Oof.
Yes, maybe you could be a Zania, and you know, and I was like, okay.
So there's something that we do as brand architects and brand strategists. We look at talent, or we look at a person. And by looking at the talent and looking at the person, that we have all these ideas.
Of course.
Right? And we just come as like, this is what we think could work or could be best, all right?
This is the gap you could fill.
This is the gap you could fill. And then you come up, and sometimes we just go do some research, go do, a little bit of, here and there, some references, and think, oh, this will work. But I think I would want to know, and this is really the job of a brand manager, a brand architect, but what would you say to, young artists, or not even just young, but up and coming, right? And up and coming doesn't nothing to do with age. When it comes to that relationship of saying that you employ brand managers, they come to you and say, introduce an image or introduce the brand. What are some of your experiences that you would say you have to sit with you know, a brand manager or in an end. What was the greatest lessons? Like you said now with the current, you said, no, you Musa Yende. How did you get to that, and
To
why
that final
did you say like, but no, this doesn't work?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
I think the biggest lesson here was that I did try to be other stuff.
Yeah.
It did not work.
Yeah.
It did not work. You can try, and you can only maintain it for a short period of time. The greatest thing really is to really be yourself. And even when you have a team and people that you work with, it's important that they know who you are. It's important for them to know what you're about. It's important for them to really have that interest. That's another thing. Because if you can't tell them, at the time, I don't blame any of them. I didn't know. I was still finding my feet, trying to find myself, trying to really find and figure out who am I, you know? So I don't blame them. They were not wrong. But now, lesson is I'm very open about the fact that, okay, I'm Musa Yende, and this is what I like. This is how I like to do things. This is what I'm about. These are my interests. And finding someone who has that patience and interest to go, if they having ideas is great, because sometimes I don't have the greatest ideas. But if I'm going to partner with you as a brand strategist, the power of it for me, this is what I think. I'm not saying what I'm about to say is the way, but learning what I like and then incorporating it with your ideas to say, okay, so because I have this great idea and this is what you like, how's about we just pair it up like this and just make it into this, you know, instead of you saying, oh no, but how's that gonna sell? How's that gonna work? I think this, because is what I've learned. Like ezinye, and I appreciate everybody I got to work with. They were not wrong. Like I'm saying, it was a me thing, but now I know who I am. I know what I like. I know how I'd like to be involved. Remembering also when I released my EP, my team was like, we love it, Musa. Wow, we see what you were saying. But there by the Psalm 23, when you do the reading, the Bible reading, we're going to need you to be Psalm 23. And I said, wrong party. I am not the one. I'm not the one. Because even when you watch it, Uzo cringe, I would say, I don't think Musa, you know? So it was important for me to stand my ground to say, oh, this is how I'm going to read it. Like, this is literally me. This is what you guys signed up for. So now it's one of the guys was like, oh, I get it. Okay, I get it. I get what you were trying to say. I'm like, I'm being me at it. And there is a market for me. There are people that are like, oh, I relate to you because I'm so awkward. I'm such an introvert. But I like how you pair it up with this. So,
And what I'm getting from this, Musa, most especially this conversation that we're having, is just being yourself is the most powerful ammunition. That's your superpower. Because if you don't know who you are, you will be flown left, right, and center.
I'll
and
tell
be
you
changed.
who you are.
You'll be altered. And eventually you will collapse because you are not yourself. You've been someone else. And that's what I'm getting from this. Actually, funny enough, we used to look at Simphiwe Dana perform. I don't know now how she does it, but back in the day, Simphiwe would just stand in front of a mic and the band will be busy and then she's just static there. And then she'll be singing from that, no movement, nothing. But the power of the music and hearing her, sing and put those vocals, like she doesn't have to move. She doesn't have to go left and right. She stands there until the end of the show, right? So identity is important.
It is.
All right? So now, Musa, when you now talk about that and we see Musa with the blue hair, right? And this continued and you still have that. Is that part of the identity? Is that part of you saying I'm comfortable with this? Tell us about that. That became you should have. That became part of your brand, right? Because even in your design, your CD and everything is the blue. What's up with the blue?
I like it. You know, I really love the blue hair. Actually, one day a friend of mine was like, this was almost 5 years ago now.
Wow.
I've had it for a while, and they were like, this looks like something you would like. I'm not sure, but knowing you, when I saw it, I was like, I have never seen anybody do something like this, and I like it. You know, I really, really do like it. And I tried it out. And when I tried it out, it was a little... I needed guts for it. Till today, I need guts to wear the blue hair, you know. I needed guts for it, especially also because I mean, I'm in gospel, so some people are not so accepting of such things. I had a friend of mine that said, "Friend, when you do my recording, please don't come with the blue hair." I was like, I won't. But it wasn't in a bad way. They just how they brand themselves. Maybe they didn't want the blue hair, but I just like it, and I'm gonna wear it because I like it. And you do find people that are like blue, but funny enough, how people reacted to it was really not what I expected. Like majority of the people, even the old people really love it within the Christian fraternity. And I was really nervous because it's blue. Majority of them actually were okay with it, but you do find people that are like, what's with you and the blue? I really like it. I wear it and I feel good. I like it. That's all there is to the blue hair. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna wear it because I like it. Because that's it. I feel good in it.
Because you do what you like.
Yes.
You go for what you love. So when you have, or do you hear conversations, you know, in the Christian about the blue hair? Have you been confronted by someone to talk to you about the blue hair?
They would be brave to come. I'm joking. I'm kidding.
You wish they would.
No, please, guys, please don't confront me. No. Directly, no. People, like I'm saying, the ones who confront me are like, blue, but they actually are fascinated by it. No. But indirectly, maybe just here and there, I just shut it off because then it's going to discourage me. I'm very soft. But yes, Zikon is good. Like what I'm saying, a friend of mine was like, hey, please, just not on my project, hey. And that's okay. That's okay, Vele. It's their space.
It's an invitation.
It's an invitation, but... not as much as I thought I would hear about it. No. Because I think even when people want to say something, there is nothing wrong with her blue hair. It's just hair that's blue. It's a color. It's got nothing to do with my relationship with God, with how I carry myself. We're solid. The day I pray about it for long enough and I can feel, you know what, there's some sort of conviction. Maybe I need to change my ways. I'll change the blue hair. But for now, me and Jesus, we're good.
We're together. And that's a powerful thing because... I think we work too hard for our salvation. I think we work too hard, to get approval from God. And it's almost like, and I was telling someone the other day that, you know what, it means that you're removing the power of God. You don't need God's help because we want to be perfect. We want to look right. We want according to our own definition. Right, and some of the lessons with that, like you're saying, I'm wearing this hair because I like it, and my relationship with God is fine. We're good. What are some of the challenges that you faced, in terms of doctrine, that you still find that for you, in terms of your ministry and the music ministry, that you kind of still want to preach to the children of God to say, as much as we are careful, holiness and this, but we need to preach the gospel to everybody in different ways, right? And not in the same way. What is the message, when it comes to identity, when it comes to grace, when it comes to, having, to us not to use our own power, but allowing God every single morning to say, it's not me, this is you. Right? What are some of the obstacles and challenges that you faced or still even facing within the gospel space?
Yes, there are a lot of challenges. As you're speaking, I'm remembering a short conversation I had with a friend, and I was saying to them, as I'm finding myself more and more in this journey, if you had asked me 2 years ago if I thought, uNkulunkulu bakangangibeka la, like sometimes I'm like, you choosing me? Like, what am I going to say to your children, you know? And I was like, he chose me to do it. He didn't choose me to do it perfectly. He chose me to do it.
Wow.
And as I grow, we're growing. We're doing better and better each time. And I said even to my team that what I want to be about is I'm not removing anybody from the Jesus table, you know, because I have seen sometimes it happens, and that's okay. I don't want to talk about how other people do things. We're called to do things differently, like you said, and that's okay. But as for me, I really want to call upon everybody, even the ones who think they are imperfect, but really want to give Jesus a try. They want to give Christianity a try. I want them to be like, okay, let me see what happens if I listen. I have a lot of people that listen to my music, and that's my biggest testimony. The ones abati, I don't even listen to gospel. Yeah, the ones in the piano spaces, the ones that are like me and Christianity and gospel. Oh yeah, I pray, but I don't even listen to it. But I find myself listening to your EP.
Wow.
That is one of my biggest wins, because as you journey with Christ, there is no way that he will not correct you as you go, you know. There are things, Naomi, that I'm like, I was confident about them 2 years ago. I'd be like, I'll wear this because I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And when you get to know me, you see that my intentions are pure.
Yeah.
But last week, I'm taking it out of my wardrobe. I'm like, I think it's Kati Salento, it's pelile now, because of where I am now, whether spiritually, whether, you know. So I think just the effort of just wanting to know Christ, he really journeys with you, and he's kind to his children, and he guides you. So that's my thing, that everybody who wants to give it a try and they don't know how. Some of them feel like they're not good enough. Some of them feel like they're not going to accept me. Some of them feel like it's just a call to everybody who wants to know Christ. For me, that's what I'm about.
God chose me to do it, but not to do it perfectly. That reminds me of Jonah. That man, I don't know how many times he ran away.
Yeah.
You know, I think the first chapter, Jonah. And I just want to go through this.
Yes,
this is a
please.
podcast, so but you know, I think this is important.
Can I also open it here?
Yeah. And what you're saying about us having to serve, right?
Yeah.
And having, you know, the world saying that we like your music and we listen to music, even though we're not gospel people. And it says something about a calling, right? Now, what you just said, God called me to do the work, but not to do it perfectly. So here's Jonah chapter 1, right? This man, the relationship with God. So it says, the word of the Lord came to Jonah, son of Amittai. Go to the great city of Nineveh and preach against it. Its wickedness has come up before me. So 3, it just says, but Jonah ran away from the Lord, headed to Tarshish. He didn't even respond. He just says he ran away, right? But the interesting is, God still follows Jonah. He still continues to go fetch him and say, I want you.
Yes, it has to be you.
God could have just gone for anybody else.
Yes.
But it says, but Jonah is running away. So this for me is like saying that this thing of thinking that we need to be perfect to preach the gospel.
In order to do it,
and then we hold ourselves back and we don't give our gifts to to the kingdom of God, because we're trying to perfect ourselves. We're trying to get ourselves correct, right? And I like what you say. So with the gospel space and where you are, does that now give us a leeway and approval for the reputation that we do have when it comes to, divorces, when it comes to, fornication, when it comes to drinking or drunkenness? There are a lot of stories that come to us with reputation, right? What are some of the fixes What are some of the mentorships? What are some of the things we need to look out for to say, as much as in this ministry, we can be ourselves and do this, what do we need to look out for? Not to give this another reputation, another brand, right? What is it that is like no go? There is a line.
Yes.
Yeah.
I always remind myself that we cannot be for what God is against. So if God is against it, we cannot make it right at all.
Yeah.
Conversations that I also have with my people around me to say, if the Bible says it's wrong, if our teachings, we know that isn't this so, this is where we draw the line. We cannot downplay them. But God knows my flaws, and yes, He does. But so what I'm trying to emphasize on is that you come to Him with your flaws. But there's a problem if there's no change in your journey with Christ. If you want to remain the same person, but He knows this is what I do. He knows this is what I'm about. He knows. No. So I hope I'm answering what you're asking. We cannot be for what Christ is against. If it's sin, it's sin. Especially as a child of God, there are things that we know that we do not do certain things. We do find ourselves in situations where we fall down, But so what I'm trying to preach is that you pick yourself up and you start again.
Yeah.
You pick yourself up and you start again. So we can't stand for what Christ is against.
Yeah.
That for me is number one. But it's a journey.
Yeah.
It's a journey. We know what we're aiming for.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, this is not really like an open door to say with your what come through. No.
And continue.
No, absolutely no.
Yeah.
And mina Ekhaya is Assemblies of God. So they do not play. So I took that with me also. I took that with me. I always know is this as a child of God, how does it stand? How does it play out? So no, we cannot be for what Christ is against.
That takes me to the second word. Grace. What comes to mind?
Grace. So unmerited favor.
Unmerited
favor is what just quickly came to my mind. Yes. Man, the grace of God, yes, I've seen it in my life as well. I've seen it over and over, even in times loving it. Hey, me in Avele, and God just keeps saying, my grace is sufficient for you. So I've seen God really do incredible things. He's been so gracious to me. So gracious, also linking it to the story saga, Jonah just kept on being after Jonah. So that was me. That was me saying, no, but according to the book, according to what I've planned, my career is about to boom, and God says, no, it has to be you. And I ran away for years. And His grace, also going back to the song Umelusi, it's uyangihola ngize ngifike la angifuna khona, which means you can't even dodge. You know what I mean? I've tried so many times. I've tried for years, and if it was somebody else, Musa because she knows what she's doing, let her go. But He just keeps running and chasing after me. And that for me is the grace of God.
What was the fish moment for you, when you are captured and God says, I want you here? What was that moment, the Jonah moment that you said, God says, I need you here. And you've been running away and you're like, God, I surrender. When was that moment and what was happening?
It was after trying so many times. I'm not the baddest singer. There was no way all these doors are shutting because I can't sing. Sometimes people think I'm cool with the blue head, so it can't be that all these doors are shutting because I'm whacking anyway. It was after trying and trying and trying and trying, and all these doors look promising, but they're just not working out. And according to realistically, and according to calculation, I know it's supposed to be working out by now. And after years and years and so many losses, that's another thing. You will go around the same cycle until you learn. So I wasn't learning. I wasn't learning for years and years. I wake up again and I'm like, okay, but we have to do it like this. I know it's going to work out. But I wasn't involving God. I wasn't checking, is this aligning with the plans that you have for me? Until one time, my strength is done. I'm depleted.
Yeah.
I have no strength in me. I can't even pray. I can't do anything. I don't have zest for anything.
Sure.
If anything, it seems like it's going into a very dark space. So I sat down, took some time out. I said no to a lot of things.
Okay.
Said no to a lot of gigs as well. I just needed time to sit and think and pray and introspection. And as I'm praying, then it's so loud to say, shucks, all of this was according to my thinking and what I think will work. So now that I'm handing it over, okay, it's fine. What is it that you have for me? What are the plans? And as he's stripping me off, it seems even darker. I'm like, it seems even darker than before. It was better when I was attempting to run.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of praying. I did a lot of alignment, and it was loud that the thing is, you want to do what you think can work out because of how it looks and how it looks like you're gonna rock it to stardom. You're gonna make the money. But is it aligned to the plans that I have for you? And I went to church, and I'm banging every door down. And I always tell the story that I went to church, and my pastor was like, if it's from God, you won't have to hustle and bustle as hard as you are, banging the doors down in that manner. It'll come with some sense of peace, and it'll come with some assurance. You'll know when you open that door that it's yours. And I said, Kanjan, because Mina, I'm out here, Pella, we say, motivational speakers say, you sometimes bang that door down. Here I am banging it down, and my pastor says, and about 2 weeks, I'm praying about that because I'm from church. I'm like, he's not wrong, but I just need to understand what he was trying to say. And I opened my emails, and there's the deal from the company that I'm with that says, we actually just want to work with you, but it's not with, we want you for the gospel as you are.
Wow.
With your blue hair, with however you do things. We want to work with you, but we want you for gospel. And I remembered my pastor that said, if it's from God, you won't have to fight for it, and it'll come with some peace. And I'm about to sign a big deal.
Wow.
And I'm like, what do I do?
Wow.
And that's when I was like, because of how this one came, let's see what happens when I really let down. And till today, I confidently say there's a blessing that comes with obedience. God really just wants you to be obedient. You showing him that small sense of obedience, he comes through for you, because today I'm sitting here in Kuluma, a totally different story about how my life changed.
Yeah. And the dark place, usually, like you're saying, you do same thing over and over until you learn a lesson. All right? And you get into a dark place, and now you're doing this gospel. Is it easier now?
I love it here. I look back and I'm like, what was I thinking? Did I think I was going to handle that other space? I'm not sure. Well, we wouldn't know because it didn't work out. But I'm like, I feel like I've tapped into my purpose, and I wake up every day, even today, and not because I don't have problems. If I could put my problems on your table, I have 50 million. But I wake up and there's just peace even in the storm. And I wake up and I'm like, it's so good to be a child of God. I'm so happy to be in this journey. It has its ups and downs, maning. And so often I go back to God to say, remember I had the plans that I had. Labo was on cover. So now that really I'm in your line, I'm aligning with the plans that you have for me. How do we work it out? I have moments like that, but I love it. I'm happy. I love doing this. I love the genre. I love being a child of God more than anything. It's about the relationship. So I wouldn't have it any other way.
And the last one.
Yes.
Love. Yes. What comes to mind?
What comes to mind when you say love? So many things, but what I would sit on right now is obviously the love of God upon my life, over my life. I feel like God's favorite child. I feel like he loves me so much. And sometimes, yes, we preach on, no, Jesus loves you, because we're used to saying it and hearing it, really.
Yeah.
And I'm in a point in my life where I'm so sure about it and it feels so good. You know?
Yeah.
Nkulevele, oh, Jesus loves you. You
Yeah.
know, how many times have you heard?
Yeah.
But right now I'm in a point where I actually believe it and I see it in the slightest things. In the slightest things. And yeah, it's really God's love upon my life. That's
Yeah.
what comes to mind when you say love.
When you talk about loving, this space that you are in, when you talk about being comfortable, being at peace, it doesn't mean we don't have challenges. The challenges are there, but peace. It's peace that surpasses understanding.
Oh yeah, that's
right.
That's exactly what.
In the storm.
In the storm.
Yeah.
I look back now and I'm like, we keep talking about peace that surpasses all understanding, but I don't think I knew it back then what it was. Now I'm like, because sometimes it doesn't make sense why I would have such peace, even with the trials. But yeah.
Yeah. There's something I wrote this morning, and it's about any object that you put too close to you, you'll not be able to see it. Anything that you just put it, whether it's your hand, your phone, anything, if you go closer to a painting, you will not see it. But you zoom out. The further away, the further away you go towards away from that thing, you start to see.
Yeah.
Now that we are here, we don't see what's going on. We don't see the beauty of this city, right?
Yeah.
But get on a flight, take off, be right up there beyond the clouds, and you look down,
whoa.
and you're like, wow, right? And sometimes we don't understand what is happening currently until later, 5 years later, 10 years later, and we look back, we're like, oh, now I see the picture, right? And I want to end this with love, to say, how are you giving off that love that Christ gave you through your music, to people, to your enemies, all right? There are so many enemies. There are enemies that we created ourselves. There are enemies who just wake up and just don't know why they hate us, all right? But how are you giving off that love?
I try my best, I try my best. But also with serving God's people. I try to really serve God's people. In so many ways, through my music, like you're saying. When they usually ask me, what do you want people to feel or learn, or when they listen to your music? And one of the things is that it must feel like a warm hug from God. So that could be me really giving out my love to music, through music. But also doing so many other things. Like I'm running a foundation now.
Wow.
Yeah, last week we drove to KZN just to give the whole school in KZN after Pietermaritzburg. It was so far.
Yeah.
We drove for 6 hours just to hand out stationery to God's children, the whole school. And then we got in the car, drove back.
Wow.
So that's me just sharing this love that I feel. Oh, God has just been giving me so much love. How do I give it back? There's so many other ways that you can give out the love. So I try my best where I can. But mostly for now, it's really serving God's people. I love to serve God's people and just show them love.
Yeah. We are so proud of you. You're doing well.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for coming and grace us with your presence.
Yay.
We're really looking forward to the next things that are coming.
Yes.
So what can we look forward to? What's coming next?
There is so much that we have planned.
Yeah.
Not even really just with the music. There's so many other things that I can't probably say now. But so many things that are planned. Expanding what we're doing with the foundation as well. But also there is new music this year.
Oh, lovely.
There is new music. So, yeah.
Yeah. Musa, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. The process of becoming, we're understanding, I think, from this conversation that we've had, is identity, is knowing yourself.
Yeah.
Beyond anything, because if you don't know yourself, people will just come and switch you over and tell you who you are. And unfortunately, some of them, they go on and on for many years without knowing they're actually acting, right? So thank you so much for sharing that nugget.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the Evolution Lounge with Tembandala, and today we're sitting with Musa Yende. You've heard it. Go and be yourself. Don't allow people to change who you are. You are perfect as you are, and God just keeps looking after you. Thank you so much. The Evolution Lounge, Musa, and it's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Yeah.
I got champion DNA. Yeah.